I saw that you went back to the Four Nations, the EMMAA Four Nations, as part of the link up with PFL Europe. They're supporting them. What was it like being back there as like a pro, seeing all this?
It was mad because like literally I was saying at the place like a year ago I was literally fighting the show, and a year later I'm like that special guest giving people medals and stuff, and everyone's treating me as like a celebrity. It was like the change for like the whole year is mad. Seeing like where I came from in like the past year and where I am now is just it's unbelievable. So yeah.
And like how important, like just from your point of view, obviously it wasn't in place when you was competing there, but like the PFL's what they're doing, supporting the young fighters and financial, like who get picked. Like, how big a deal is that for like a young fighter?
Literally, like for amateur career, it's like so unforgiving. Like you're literally paying money and paying out of your own pocket to be doing like Four Nations and going to the EMMAA, like, and then people working long hours of days just to try to get somewhere in the sport. And the PFL, what I really like about it is that they bank on the amateurs. Like they give them financial support and they give them a route to make it to the top. And they came to the Four Nations to show them, like, especially me going back, they're like, I was in the Four Nations a year ago. You're in the Four Nations now. Look where you can be in a year's time. You can be fighting and signed in the PFL. So just giving them inspiration and give them like a pathway and give them hope, which I really like about the PFL.
Yeah. Did you see it? Was there any talent that maybe you wasn't familiar with that caught your eye during the Four Nations?
There was these two heavyweights. I think Owen Cartridge versus another Irish guy. This fight of the night. These they scrapped out from like the beginning to the end. Literally, it was the last fight of the whole tournament. Everyone went mental. It's like literally everyone's like screaming out their seat. It's amazing. Even like the girl talents in the Four Nations was amazing. And Nadine fought on it as well. She unfortunately lost on the Saturday, but she redeemed herself on the Sunday, and she looked amazing. Like another girl, I think it was like a Welsh girl, a small girl. I think she fights in atomweight. She was really good. Like her jiu-jitsu. Just like seeing the levels now on the Four Nations. Like the Four Nations is getting so much bigger. Like give it a few years, it's gonna be the tournament you have to win to turn pro. Last year, everyone was like, what's this tournament? It's kind of new. This year, everyone saw the last tournament, and then like more people are applying for it. And next year, it's gonna be more people applying for it. Then soon or later, it's gonna be like only the best fighters in the whole of the UK gonna be in the tournament. You have to win this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing about it. I'll be honest with you, like I haven't heard this much chatter about like an amateur tournament for so long. Like the amount of people that just in casual conversation at work and whatever, just talking about, oh, did you do anything with that Four Nations thing? Like it's really caught on, and I guess it can only go further with PFL support. And, you can get behind
given that publicity. And another great thing they've done as well is that in the Dublin card on the 8th of December, they give like 2-3 slots of amateur fighters to fight on the undercard, and they kind of scouted people on the Four Nations for that. So giving that people like something to fight for, it's not like you go to a Four Nations, you fight for a medal. No, you have to show who you actually are as a fighter, and fight for a place to fight on the undercard in Dublin. In Dublin, just give them more hope and inspiration.
So one thing I wanted to talk about is because we had some technical difficulties the last time around. So I just wanted to recap on your professional career. We did talk about it before, but now I think it was just before your second fight. So you're 2-0 as a pro now. First round stoppages. Two first round stoppages. So let's just recap on your last fight, Camilla. You was FCC. Streamed on UFC Fight Pass. What was that experience like? The performance, but then also like you're getting streamed on UFC Fight Pass, such a good big platform.
Literally they offered me the fight like the day after my Hexagone fight. Like on the day they messaged me for fight. Literally. Obviously, I finished in the first round. I was fresh, so I was like, "Why not go straight back to fight camp?" Which I'd done for my next opponent, Simkova on FCC. The FCC show is amazing. Like I done media for them, and like the hospitality was amazing. Obviously, it's streamed on UFC Fight Pass, so I get a lot more publicity. from that as well. So obviously I fought her, Sinkova. I think she said she was a striker, but she tried to take me down. so yeah, as they always say. The fight went as I planned. My last fight in Hexagone, I kicked a lot, so this fight I wanted to show my punching, which I've done. I got the first round TKO via punches.
And that was such a I've watched the show before, but that was such a well produced show. And like you said, like the pre-fight media, the content that was created.
It runs so smooth. The weigh-ins were smooth. Everything was smooth. Everything was perfect.
Yeah, really impressed by that show. What I wanted to talk about, because you told me the story and I thought it was brilliant, and I guess it's even more relevant now because you are going back to France. With your Hexagone debut, there was a bit of a mix-up with the travel, right?
Oh my days! I don't even think that was. Like,
this won't happen with PFL, I'm sure.
Well, I still have PTSD from there.
So can we go through that again? Because
literally, like, what happened? We was flying from Stansted, I think it was, or Gatwick, wherever. The plane was delayed by like 4 hours, so we was literally on the plane sitting for like 4 hours, and then we flew. I think we was trying to land in Nantes, but then they took us to Bordeaux. But we never knew that. Like we landed on Bordeaux, and then we was like, and then all I heard was like on the speakers. They're like, they said something in French. I can't speak French. I don't know what's happening. And when all I heard around the plane is everyone was like groaning. I was like, what's happening? I was like, what's happening? And me and Barry, we was clueless. So we don't know what happened. And we was on like immigration, and someone came up to us. He was like, where are we? And we was like, we're in Nantes. What do you mean, where are we? And then we went through, and everyone was waiting in the airport. It was like 2 a.m. in the morning, and it was like dark. There was like 2 people that worked in the whole airport, and we're just like, what's happening? And they're like, we're in Bordeaux. We're like, no, we're in Nantes. They're like, well, no, we're in Bordeaux. Like, the pilot took us to the wrong airport. Like, I don't know, he must have got like the wrong postcode or something. How does that even happen? Like, you're in the middle, you're going to this different places. And like, he just took us to the wrong airport. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. And they were like, okay, we have one bus that has like 80 spaces. There's like 150 of us in the airport. The airport's closed. And they're like, okay, we can take you to Nantes. That's going to take 7 hours. Or you can take you to the hotel and then figure it out in the morning. But then we was just like, I don't know what's happened. So we basically got an Uber from like Bordeaux to I don't even know where we was going, somewhere over there. We wasn't even going Nantes. The venue was like over there, and Nantes is over there. So we took Uber from the airport to the venue. Which cost me like 600 euros.
I was about to say, I bet that wasn't cheap.
Nah, it was so expensive. They reimbursed me back.
Yeah,
but
brilliant.
Just like, but then like we'd done the whole thing, blah blah blah, and then like on the way back, Barry's just like, I don't know where my passport is. He left his passport in the Uber going from the airport to the thing. So he had to go through the Eurostar, stay the night over. And then I rebooked my flight because I don't want to leave on the Monday. So I rebooked on the Sunday, but then it got sold out. So I had to go to a different flight by myself than everyone else. It was just hectic. But I won the fight. So
I was about to say, so none of this affected your performance.
No,
and like you said, viral finish. And you just mentioned it. I'm not sure if you mentioned it off camera or during the interview, but you said that like you're getting like French fans coming over to like see you.
Literally, like even like when I went Canada, like people that lived in France, they're like, didn't you get that spinning back elbow like all the way in Canada? Like there's this one guy, he's coming to my fight, George. Like he flew over. And like March came GB, just I watched your last fight, can we get pictures? Like anyone who comes over from France, they're like, I watched your fight in Hexagone. So like I really resonate with like the fans of France. They're amazing crowds. So
that's it, building.
Can't wait to go back.
What was other than like obviously like you're getting that sort of feedback, but like maybe from like the mainstream as like MMA media and your peers, like what was the feedback from that like spinning back elbow, like it was such a like it was everywhere.
Yeah,
Like constantly, it was like I see it in so many reels like all the time.
Yeah, literally. Everyone always comes up to me just like no elbows, no spinning back elbow. It's like a thing now. I'm just known for like the spinning back elbow. It's a sick thing to get known for. It's like my whole performance up to that spinning back elbow was amazing, but no one cares about that. Everyone just cares about their elbow. I'm like, that's amazing. Like Walter, he fought on Hexagone like 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, he lost. But like they even replayed my elbow like 5 times on our stream. It's like this.
That arena was crazy too. It was like a coliseum.
Yeah, it was amazing. Brilliant. I was meant to fight on that show if I don't get signed for PFL.
So like, just wanted to talk to you about like the atmosphere. Like you mentioned, like Walter and like, so many other members of the team, but obviously you're not going to be alone on this card. Simeon's going to be on there. What's the feeling around the camp at the moment? Like everyone's so busy and got a lot of great opportunities coming up. So this must spur you on even more, right? Like
definitely. Like especially right now, the gym's a bit quiet. Like no one really has fight booked other than like me, Simeon, and Luke, who are all out in end of September time. But like I'm really like focused now. I'm like in the middle of fight camp. My week's planned out. I'm training hard. Everything's going up a level. You can see Sim like in his mentality as well. He's switching on. Like he's training hard. He's getting his rounds in. So we're always just like focused on our dates. That it's literally like a life and death. Like we're gonna win those fights, and that even like being around him. Like I've been around him more now that we're signed with PFL. We do like media stuff that together. So like just seeing him and where he's doing is I really like look up to him because he's fighting for 100K this year, and I'm gonna do it next year. So I'm just seeing how he moves, how he is moving through this tournament, his mentality, and how he goes through like fight camp. And I'm kind of looking at him, so I can do the same thing next year when he wins it. This year, I'm gonna win it next year.
It must be like reassuring. It must be a good feeling. I know you're like. We spoke before about your Muay Thai career. Like you're like a young veteran at this point of the combat sports and shows, but it must be like reassuring and putting you in a better comfort zone when you're going through all this. Like you're seeing all the news side of the media, bigger organisations. But then there's your teammate right next to you who's going through it at the same time.
I don't feel like worried. Like I'm just like, even like when I'm going like Paris and I know he's gonna be there. I can if I want to know something about PFL, I'll just like hit him up, be like, oh this, are you going to that? He's like, yeah, it's cool. In that type of sense. Like obviously I've done Muay Thai for ages, but like the media and like and like publicity side of the thing compared to MMA, it's like it's a different world. Unless you're on like ONE FC, like an MMA. Even for me, like obviously I just started my pro career like in March. I had my 2 fights, so now most people they have like what 5, 6, 7 fights kind of float around blah for a couple of years before they get signed to a big promotion. But me, I had 2 fights, and like a couple of weeks later I got signed to like one of the biggest, if not the biggest promotion in the world, and then everything's all coming like fast paced. But I've been counting down the days for this moment, so looking forward to it.
Talking of your teammates and signings and progress, we had Kate Bacik in the studio, and it got announced. She announced here that she got signed to Invicta, which is a massive deal. So even again, like, how does that feel? Like, you know, your team, everyone's progressing around you, right?
Exactly. Like we're all like we're all doing big things around us, which is amazing. Like. It's not like one person is like at the biggest stage and they're by herself. Like we all have like the same pressure, and like I'm fighting a big stage, she'll push me. She fighting a big stage, I'll push her. We all know like the stakes and what we're gonna do on fight night. So
must make for a great atmosphere in the gym.
Yeah, definitely. We're all on the same wavelength now. Everyone's on like big shows, so we're all like the professionalism in the gyms, like it's gone so high. Like GB, we only opened up like a year and a half ago, and just like we're like one of the biggest teams in the whole UK. Everyone's fighting on big shows, big promotions every other week. So just like the whole atmosphere is just it's amazing. Even for like the amateurs and juniors looking up, like this fights in PFL, UFC, Cage Warriors, Bellator. So it's just it's amazing. Hopefully Kate gets a fight soon though, because her last fight was in March, but. She's been itching, like no one wants to fight her. It's just like it's funny. Well, it's not funny, but we actually spoke at length about her getting cancelled fights. And then when she finally had this, and she mentioned something because
at one point she actually weighed in, right, and it was when the fight star got cancelled because of the lights.
In the middle of the night, like 2 a.m. in the morning.
So we was talking about that, and she was like, I think she was saying something along the lines of like tongue in cheek, like, you know, I won't get excited now until I'm making the ring walk. And
that's me. I've had my fair share of like pull-outs in MMA amateur and Muay Thai. So I'm like, I don't technically believe in fighting until the bell goes.
Yeah.
Like I had pull-outs like 5 minutes before fight before. So I'm just like, obviously like for PFL now it's like a big organisation. I'm fighting, like you're fighting on this day. Whoever, like 100% you're fighting on this day. It might not be this person, but you're fighting on this day type of thing, which is like it's rare, but I'm lucky in that type of sense.
Yeah.